Hey there, I'm Phoenix Boxer, and today I'm going to be going over how to get the secret achievement alone at the end of the world. So let's jump right into this. First off, this guide requires no franks at all, but if you were to have franks, I would recommend grabbing the heavy saber and tar bottle to help you. For the sake of this video, I'm going to assume you have no franks and you're on a fresh account. And because of this, the class that we are going to be using for this badge is the Line Infantry class. Many people often point to the Sapper class and other guides to do this badge, but I'm going to show you that you don't need to play Sapper to get this badge. Also, as to what this badge consists of, you need to play on an endless map by yourself and survive for 20 waves. The badge will reward you with two things: the fork beard and the red tinted glasses. These both actually look pretty good and make for great free-to-play accessories. Also, near the end of this guide, I will have a full run of me doing this badge, that way you can see for yourself how I did it in case you need more visuals. So stick around and enjoy. Now before we actually jump into a match, I'm going to show you some fighting tactics that will help you out immensely, and can also be used outside of the badge in public games. First, let me show you a place where you can practice before attempting to get the badge. First things first, you need to make a private server. They're completely free, so don't worry. Once you're in and the game is loaded, click Join Match. Then in the chat, type /map_test. This will teleport you to the test zone, which is a place where you can test out stuff. Finally, if you die at any point while in the test zone, simply do /respawn and you will respawn. Also, you can do /killZ to kill all the zombies currently alive in case you overwhelmed yourself. For the first tactic, I'm going to be teaching you flicking. Flicking is when you purposefully move your camera, that way the weapon you're holding will hit more zombies. This is best performed with the downswing, since it has the furthest range and the fastest swing rate too, making it a very safe swing. Ensure you have enabled your direction lock, that way you don't accidentally swing in a different direction. To flick, simply move your camera left or right when you swing your saber while you have shift lock on. If you don't know how to enable shift lock, go into Roblox settings and turn on the top setting labeled shift lock. Now practice flicking for a few moments, and then go up to the shambler spawner and walk on it to spawn some shamblers. Now practice flicking on the shamblers with your downswing. If you're doing it correctly, it should look something like this. Awesome, now you know how to flick, hopefully. Next, I'm going to teach you how to use your bayonet. You're probably wondering why I'm teaching this, and there's one specific reason. The cuirassiers zombie. These bad boys have a ton of HP and have huge damage resistance to any melee weapons that hit its arms, legs, chest, or helmet. Normally, when you're fighting a cuirassier, it will bow its head to prevent you from hitting headshots on it. However, when you're using a bayonet, the cuirassier will never bow its head. This means that it only takes 2 hits to kill the zombie if you hit it in the head twice. So, how do you do this? First, you'll need to equip your musket and ready your bayonet. If you don't know what button to do that is, look at the bottom right corner and the game should tell you. For computer players, it's X. For other devices, I'm a bit unsure, but it should be somewhere there. Next, you need to go into first person view. The reason you do this is because it's hard to gauge exactly where you're swinging your bayonet from a third person perspective. Once you're in first person, enable your direction lock on your downswing. This swings the fastest and is obviously the best. The upswing just takes too long, so don't bother using it. Now you need to angle your bayonet up slightly, and you need to aim for headshots. Now there is no button on the test zone to spawn cuirassiers, so for this type /spawn CU. This will spawn a cuirassier on wherever your mouse is located. Now, try to engage with the cuirassier in melee combat, and try to hit 2 headshots. This is tricky, and you will likely take damage, but that's fine since they deal low damage anyway. Once you feel comfortable with this, you're ready to begin. The only other thing I will say is that you should go into the game settings by pressing M, Settings, going to Interface, and disabling Unlock Direction on Unequip. What this will do is make it so you won't have to relock your direction lock every time you pull out your sword or bayonet, meaning you do it once and you won't have to worry about swinging in another direction. The map we're going to be playing on for this badge is La Ferme. Simply do /map space la space ferme in chat and the game will load the map for you. After this point, do not use any commands. If you do, then the game will not give you the badge. Even skin commands will make the badge not work, even though they don't really do anything. So again, do not use any commands past this point. You've been warned. Next, you need to go over to this area over here with the 2 graves. The reason you do this is so the zombies don't spawn on both sides of the map. Zombies spawn where it is closest to the player in endless mode. Also, I understand for some players this map is quite dark. To fix this, go into the settings, graphics, and then look for brightness. You can set this up to a maximum of 1.0 and a minimum of 0.0. Personally, I play with 0.4 brightness, but you should adjust it to what you think is nicest. Now let's actually start with the waves. First, waves 1 through 6. These waves only spawn shamblers and they are all very weak. I would recommend using your bayonet as it will one-shot the shamblers here. Keep in mind your bayonet can only hit 1 zombie at a time though, so be mindful of that. Also, after wave 1 ends, you should get a message in chat saying, "Perhaps you truly are alone." If you don't see this message, it means you've used some command and the badge won't work. Also, no, this doesn't mean you can use commands after the first wave is over, so don't bother trying. On wave 7, this is where it starts to get harder. Bombers and runners will start to spawn now. Thankfully, the game will only spawn a set amount of bombers and runners for the first 20 waves of Endless, which is coincidentally the amount of waves you have to do for this badge. So first, you want to target the runners. They will spawn the fastest and make your way over to you the fastest. Go figure. The safest way to deal with runners is to go first person and use your bayonet. However, if the runners are overlapping each other or are too close together, use your sword instead and flick so you can hit the runners at the same time. You can also shoot the runners, but I would not recommend this unless there's more than one. As for the bombers, you can mostly just ignore it. However, from this wave and onward, you will need to kite/train the zombies. What is kiting, you may ask? It's when you lure a horde of zombies into a crowd and take jabs at them slowly over time whilst running from them. As long as you know how to flick, kiting is not very difficult, so don't worry. Just make sure you don't overextend, keep your distance, and deal with the zombies slowly. If you tip off a bomber, then make sure to get out of their blast range before they explode. Nothing new happens until you reach wave 14. On this wave, zappers will start spawning. Zappers honestly don't do a whole lot, and are probably the least of your concerns when it comes to doing this badge. They're usually the last zombies you'll kill in a wave since they can't keep up with the horde. I would highly recommend using your bayonet against zappers since they have no resistance to the bayonet and it will only take 1 to 2 hits if you aim for headshots. Just remember to bait their swing, then hit them. Finally, on wave 16, cuirassiers zombies will start spawning. From the multiple runs I've done of this, I've never seen more than 1 spawn per wave, so you should be fine. After you deal with all the runners, the cuirassier zombie, if they spawned, will likely be right behind them and charge at you. Simply move out of the way and use your bayonet to kill them. Then go back to kiting as normal. In the event that a cuirassier zombie spawns later in the wave, you will have to keep dodging his charges until you are done kiting. Or, he may actually join the horde. If this happens, simply kite as normal and deal with the shamblers. After the shamblers are all dead, either bait the cuirassier near a bomber, or take out your bayonet. Cuirassiers surprisingly aren't that dangerous for this badge if you know what you're doing. From then on, you just have to beat the last 4 waves. And on the start of wave 20, you should hear a little sound, and in chat the game should tell you that you got the badge. If you didn't receive the badge, it means you probably used a command and messed up. And yeah, that's how you do Alone at the End of the World with no Franks. I'm going to have the rest of the video be me doing the badge just in case some of you are visual learners. If you have any questions, comment down below and I will try to answer them. Also, make sure to join my Discord server. I host old guard runs, you can talk with other Guts and Blackpowder players, and more. Lastly, like and subscribe if you found this helpful, or dislike if you thought this didn't help at all. Hope you have a good day and enjoy the footage of me getting alone at the end of the world.